Goofy!
What the hell is even that?
That is one big pilot.
For a modern gaming audience.
Why are you running?
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
We're communists.
Woke.
Would you please get your politics out of my comic books? I'm like, what comic books are you reading?
I'm cured! Praise God!
He vatored! He vatored!
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
For a modern gaming audience.
If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble.
Welcome to Nerd Wars. Sorry about that. Welcome to Nerd Wars.
Please clap.
I did not look at what those emojis were.
It's delicious.
I clicked on them.
It's delicious.
Welcome, everyone, far and wide. White, black, white pretending to be black, or like
you.
Badger, white pretending to be Latino. How you doing today, Badger?
Letitia's clearly black presenting.
Or is he Latino pretending to be white?
I don't think he can be whatever he wants. He's a badger.
Yes. And how's he
my
doing
own.
today?
Yeah,
Wait,
he's
what's
all
this
right.
one? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So yeah, I think the chroma exists not just in one.
Yes.
I think it exists
Yeah,
across
don't
the whole
listen,
thing.
Eddie. Spoilers. Oh, I know, but then some, and I mean, so it's definitely a different timeline. Like, if you got chroma, it's like, hey, we ain't got no chroma and whatnot. So it's like,
ABF, how's your chroma?
My Chroma's doing all right.
my chroma is usually really slow and crashes, so I only use Chroma to log in on my YouTube, my Nerd Wars. Terrible browser.
Yeah.
So
Well, I woke up this morning and Molly was eating a bird on my rug. So that's how my Chroma's doing.
dogs and cats do be doing it like that. They're like,
Love
hey, I did
Molly.
a good job. Praise me, praise me.
Oh, she knows
Well-
she did something wrong.
Well, all the women are like,
Maybe it was a demon
dog's like,
bird.
I'm good.
Maybe it was a CIA bionic drone, and your dog saved you.
Good point. I bet she ate the battery and the camera out of it, and that's why
I said
think it's just a
bionic.
bird.
I said bionic. They're like Cylons at this point. All right.
Yeah.
Mimetic polyalloy.
They're gonna have
Yeah.
them delivering Amazon Prime packages here before long. We train them. Yes, pigeons are. You can totally train stupid ass pigeons to deliver messages. Yeah, come on, we're smarter than that. Before we get into Frieren Beyond Journey's in season 2, we have some other things to address. Badger, I did not know who the hell this guy was. Paul Walter Hauser. Leon is like #1 enthusiast for we need Mole Man in Fantastic Four. Mole Man. He won't shut up about Mole Man. And then I read some Fantastic Four, and Mole Man's like the first villain or so. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I like Mole Man. He doesn't look anything like this James Corden ass mofo, though. Thoughts on this look, Badger, while I get source material?
Looks like he took Captain Cold's visor from DC and threw that on. I think they're going to be disappointed because you'll probably definitely see Mole Man, but it'll probably be the amount you saw Paul Giamatti as the Rhino at the end of Spider-Man. Like, it's going to be a montage of them.
Oh,
fighting
yeah,
people.
it's how it's going to begin, for sure.
Yeah.
So, oh, damn it, I'm hitting everything. ABF, what's your thoughts on James Gad Mole Man? Assuming you even know what Mole Man looks like. Here's what he's supposed to look like. A fucking mole.
Yeah, I don't even know anything about Mole Man.
He's the ruler of Monster Island or whatever. He's supposed to look like a fucking monster. Instead, he looks like he's going to host a late night TV show. But, so he had been like listed in like IMDb and whatnot to do it. And so now this is the prequel comic. Badge, you interested in some Fantastic Four movie prequel comics?
I couldn't care less, but he looks like if you put the visors on him that he would look like that comic image.
Oh, then I got to...
He's a fat dude.
Yeah, but like he's got like hair and shit looking like a normal person, and Mole Man's supposed to look like a mole man. And then he's lived underground for so long that the light hurts him, and that's why he has to wear the glasses so the light doesn't blind him.
Oh,
And he's
okay.
like,
So
he's all like old and shit too.
my mistake. So this comic is him from the prequel of the actual movie coming out.
Yeah.
So that's what he's going to look like in the movie and compared to the actual comic. Right. Yeah.
And
Well-
so that's how they figured out that's who he was gonna play, because the Mole Man character looks exactly fucking like him in the prequel comic. So yeah, but thankfully it's just gonna be quick. But god dang, anyone like Leon who might have been excited, like, oh, my boy Mole Man's coming in, they're gonna see him and go, what the hell? Who stole Mole Man's sunglasses?
Is that the dude that plays Stingray from Cobra Kai, or is that a different guy?
I know I've seen him from something.
Yeah.
That's probably looks like
I looked him up and I didn't recognize him from anything. Paul Walter Hauser.
It does
Because he looks a little different in Cobra Kai because he's got the Stingray,
I don't
goatee
think
thing
he
going.
He was in I, Tonya.
Yeah, it says
Black
Cobra Kai right there.
Klansman, or
Yeah.
Oh, Raymond.
Yeah.
Raymond.
Okay. So I hadn't
Behind
seen him in
enemy
anything.
line.
Do you guys like him in that?
Yeah.
Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Older, slightly
That's
maybe
good at least.
retarded person.
okay. Well, I mean, hey, then at least he's a decent actor, but God, he just does not look like he should in the slightest fucking bit. Red French Moon for 2. There we go. Now drops on StreamYard side. Just Shiba going number 1. Which I assume he's talking about America because we're still on that July 4th high.
Number 1. We're number 1.
Wait, ABF, did you do anything interesting to celebrate July 4th?
You better.
Yeah, I went over to my parents' house and you can see fireworks pretty well from their backyard. So cooked some burgers and watched the fireworks.
You didn't blow anything up?
No, we're saving our haul for New Year's.
So around me, they were going freaking crazy. Badger, are they even allowed to shoot fireworks off where you are?
Yeah, I mean, no,
But
but they
then
do it
ev-
anyway.
but then
I will
everyone-
tell you this. It was a substantial amount less. And like normally
Hmm.
all day it's going. It was Papa Badger's like, I think they're afraid of the ice raids. I'm like, sorry? He's like, yeah.
Wait.
They're afraid they're gonna get arrested. So all these illegals, they're not shooting off the shit. But honestly, I can't really think of another reason why there was a significantly noticeable amount less. Is either yes, ICE was so effective that all the fucking, which would be ironic that the illegals were celebrating 4th of July more, but that's a whole nother thing. Or maybe just like the economy, people ain't got money to buy a bunch of fireworks. I don't know.
They
but there was
do
a lot
around
less.
me. They were blasting. They went. One person like near me went to like 1 a.m. Yeah, fireworks went insane by me. Sounded like a Warzone 100%. Felt the booms in my chest. Was great. Yeah, I was reading comic books while they were going off, and then like the action would come in, and it actually made decent background music for some comic book action.
I mean, for the fun aerial fireworks, they are kind of expensive. But I don't know. I told my neighbor trucker to pick up $200 worth when he was going through Idaho.
Wait, are they legal in your state? Are they allowed to be shooting them off in
They're
your state?
not
maybe?
the aerials. If you go to Costco, that's like the most fun. They just sit on the ground and make a bunch of. I mean, they're fun enough for ones that don't take off, but
yeah,
they're nothing like mortars. Mortars are the best.
No, we had some car bomb ones go off that like you could feel the reverb, as Hypnotic was saying. Yeah, no, we had some big ones. The delayed, like you just see a light and you wait, and then the very loud echo explosions. Yeah, we had some big ones.
Oh, yeah. So I went on a walk, and like obviously I knew all of the fireworks going on, but there were still some that jump scared me a bit.
Did you go outside and there's just a haze of smoke in the air? Because there was like a haze of just people. Yeah.
I went for a walk, and I'm like, normally I go for a walk to be healthy, but right now I am pretty sure I'm at a net negative breathing all of this fireworks smoke.
Yeah.
Oh, also, no, while you're here, I just went through the first 2 Triguns before you hit Trigun Maximum. And I want those big boy Trigun Maximums that I know you have to own. Do you recommend them? I need to know. All right, sorry. All right, Badger, back to nerd stuff, normal nerd stuff.
Check out real quick.
David Cornsweat. Why are
I think I'm
most
going to
of
enjoy Jurassic World more than
what?
Fantastic Four there.
I would think that
I thought
too,
you were
yeah.
saying Superman. I thought you just had like a heel turn.
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. Probably not.
I feel like Badger is going to be the one like having to defend Superman, and I'm going to be the one defending Fantastic Four. Like if one, Jurassic World was hot garbage. But I
My
enjoyed
honest
Dinosaurs
prediction,
Go Brr, but
none of us is gonna like Fantastic Four. You and I might find some redeeming
I-
qualities,
yeah,
but we'll
that was
still
my
note
thought.
how horrible it was. And then
yeah, we'll have to
you
equivocate. We hate Pedro. We hate Pedro.
Yeah.
This thing was good, but also we hate Pedro, guys.
you, me, Niat, and Leon are gonna like Superman, but then note maybe some of the problems, and then Cooch is gonna have
Did
a
you
meltdown.
see how big his foot was, Badger? His neck, it was so long.
ABF, I don't know. We'll see how the guns are in Superman with maybe he'll
Well,
like it.
ABF, you plan on seeing Superman in theaters?
No. I if people say that it's like overwhelmingly good and then I should, I'll check it out.
Word of mouth is going to be super important for that film.
Yep. I mean, I went and saw F1 because everybody said it was fantastic, and I believed them and didn't waste my time going to the movie theater. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually get to that in the next tab. They're talking about all the pre-show ads and whatnot, and they talk about how important all the movie trailers are beforehand, and they actually break down percentage of why people went to see things. And we got like in addition to social media, like 19%, and then buzz from friends and family 16%. So it shows that like just word of mouth is almost just, you get just as many people as social media, and the amount of money they spend on social fucking media.
I love you, Lemon Squeezy, Japanesey, but shit like this is why that horrible movie is going to make $1 billion.
Yeah,
Dinosaurs,
no, and
so I was happy, even if they acknowledge it was garbage.
most of
Fucking
us are giving it
dinosaurs,
a 5 out of 10. I now, if I had to choose between that and Godzilla X Kong Dominion, or fuck God,
That overkill.
Yeah.
ABS.
It's for all the Chrome tabs, so I'm guessing it's
and
probably
VTubing.
needed.
It's so he can wave as a
Probably needed.
VTuber finally.
Yeah, you need the extra ramp just to be able to use hands. Yep.
Makes sense. I was thinking about downloading some, but
Yeah. Go to morememory.ru to get more RAM.
wait, ABF, did you see F1? Are you planning on watching F1?
No, I watched it.
You did watch
I
it.
told you 8.5 out of 10. I liked it a lot.
Excellent. Okay, that's
8.5. Just round up.
Not quite.
9.
Yeah, 9.
to 9.5. Yeah, I do. But not to the dad jokes. I love the dad jokes, even when they make me facepalm. So, why are most of the big studios skipping Comic-Con this year? Exclusive. And yeah, the big boys aren't showing up basically at all. There's a few here and there that's showing up, but I think a lot of this, I mean, the studios suck, and the timing didn't work very well for them to market all their big blockbusters. But
They
still,
delayed their shit.
yeah, that certainly doesn't help. But I think a lot of this comes down to, it's sort of an E3 situation where media moved past needing E3 we've moved past needing Comic-Con and releasing everything. So it kind of is a little sad, but I think Comic-Con's going to go the way of E3.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or return to basics.
we keep talking about how there's too many trailers, and I think it's because it's too easy to put trailers out now. And I think that things are just moving away from releasing things at these events and just putting it on social media.
Well, also, aside from trailers, what do you go to Comic-Con and all these panels for, right? To see the people that made the shit talk about the shit.
Yeah.
But we get that every day. James Gunn is saying something. David Cornsweat saying something. And now it ranges from good to bad, but I don't need to go to Hall H to hear them talk in detail about, what they had for lunch and what Superman would do. They do it all the time.
Yeah, because it used to be when they promote and they go on like the daytime talk shows or whatever and stuff like that, and then there'd be like the red carpet, and then there'd be like the Comic Cons and stuff like that. That's like all the information we get. But now we got James Gunn replying to every single fucking commenter.
The last batch of like 4 or 5 clips is Rachel Brosnahan does a late night show and she shows a clip. Nicholas Hoult does a show and and they all have their own clip on top of the clips that have already. And before you know it, I've seen 40 minutes of that movie.
They
You ask
should
me
run
from start to finish. I could tell you.
They should run an experiment and make an entire movie, but every single actor has to sign an NDA, and they're not allowed to give an opinion on anything ever during that time. And then put the movie out and see how well it does compared to everything else.
Yeah,
I like it. Science, literal science. I will say, like Riri Williams, she did the really cringe, like RDJ, like fake. Oh, we just woke up. We're totes messaging each other.
Oh my god!
But I can't really think she didn't do like any interviews and say anything full blown retarded, did she? The actress for Riri?
No.
I can't really think of anything.
I don't think so.
I was like,
I think
oh,
no, that was a different one. Yeah, no,
Okay.
she didn't.
well
She
done.
didn't. But man,
And
that
was
show
like
is
2.5 years she had to say something stupid and she didn't. So I will give her a little credit on that.
Yeah.
And then the little black girl magic, and like I keep seeing her the actress, and like seeing what she's saying. I'm like, oh no, you're the one I like. You're the one who's being an idiot. No, shut up. Just shut up and smile and wave. Okay. So Hollywood doesn't care about the nerds anymore. Studios decry cinemas ad-filled pre-shows. Oh, Hypno getting all up in here. Hypno, you still haven't answered me if I should spend too much money buying Trigun Maximum yet. Why am I a handsy producer? Sounds sus. Very gay, much gay. Well, you've been apparently very gay, much gay for 13 months. I appreciate it, Hypno.
Mhm.
Well, now that he's got the memory, he could be handsy now.
I
Yeah.
genuinely forget that I labeled the tier as handsy producer and then never came up with a better name. And sometimes I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably get around to coming up with a better name at some point. But hey, Hypno's been a handsy producer for 13 months. He'd be really sad if I changed it now. So.
Cabal Fluffer.
Speaking of handsy producers, French Moon for 7, my weekly Superman defense.
Oh, fuck.
We're not supposed to see all clips. For example, if it wasn't for the Cabal shows or Film Threat, plenty of clips I would miss.
That's true.
Yes, those who are on social media a lot are seeing all the clips, and I see them in the replies. They're like, stop showing me clips. But then I think about my parents who go to the theaters all the time, or like my brother and his family who go to the theater all the time. I'm like, they probably haven't seen any of these clips.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to balance because all of us who are very online and are seeing it constantly, it is too much for us. But you kind of have to do the like shotgun spread of marketing, and you kind of just got to keep doing it to get the normies. So I get it. But for us directly in the line of fire, yeah, it is too much. It's too many clips. I get it. Studios decry ad-filled pre-show. Wait, I did finish everything, right? Yes, ad-filled pre-shows. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I got to get back to Hypno. Hold on, guys. We're pausing the stream. What am I answering if I should get Trigun Maximum, if it's worth it? Because these things are like, they're a little pricey, but they're so cool. And the Trigun one is red with black lettering. It would look so cool on the shelf there. It'd be so pretty. But they're kind of pricey, and I spent too much money on comic books and manga. So, should I... Wait, did he call me a... Oh, no, I thought he called me a slur. He called himself a slur. Okay, that's cool. So, yeah, Trigun Maximum. And anyone else in chat, obviously. Should I get worth? Really enjoyed these first two. So many member berries. ABF. One of these days, you're going to need to watch some Trigun.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, right. Didn't we talk about that for like an hour after the political stream or something? Okay.
Yes, we did.
Oh, yes, and I saw that. Yeah, that one was coming out, and it's the final. Perfect. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna need to look into that. The member berries I got, some Cowboy Bebop, Trigun back in the day. Those were my freaking jam. And we'll get. Yes, Beth.
I went to GameStop yesterday.
My
I couldn't help it.
Oh, you okay?
Oh my God!
It looked when you sent the picture. I was like, he cropped everything out, but the toys. I can't help but think he bought them though.
Yes.
And I love what you did with Krypto. Oh,
fuck that dog.
Because James Gunn would have cut it out of the final cut though, sadly. But maybe in the Gunn cut, which you know we're going to get the Gunn cut. Hopefully we get to see Krypto get kicked and hopefully choked. Badger, now you're up close and personal. You sent me the picture. My first thought was, oh, holy crap, that's purple. Oh, is he crying?
It's his heat vision.
He looks so sad.
Well, they took his dog. Of course. It's very sad. Yeah, whatever.
True for us, it's a facial of clips. Wait. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're in the splash zone. Okay, I get where you're going with that now, French. Yes, we're not. I would say most of us aren't terminally online, but we are very
will
online.
get wet.
I mean, yeah, it's literally like our jobs and whatnot at this point for a lot of us. So yeah, we are definitely in the splash zone. Whereas like my normie parents or my normie brother or whatever, they're not. Yeah, like Baldwin's fingers. God bless you. So. AMC finally said, hey, we're going to actually be honest and tell people that the movie actually starts 25 to 30 minutes late. Everyone's been doing it, and AMC is finally having to get on board, but they're ruining it for everyone by telling the audience. But here's the problem is studio execs don't like that. And essentially it's because the trailers before a movie are really important. Like, because back in the day, like it was like Super Bowl commercials. Like you made sure you went there early so you could see the trailers before the movie, because that's how you found out about new stuff coming out. And maybe you see stuff in newspapers or various entertainment magazines or something. But like knowing what was coming next, you had to go sit your butt in the theater and watch those trailers. But now we absolutely don't need it. And the problem is in between the trailers they put like a Toyota commercial, and now you're paying quite a bit of money to go watch Toyota commercials.
My movie theater that I go to doesn't do that. The Roadhouse Cinema. I
Oh,
don't go to
well.
like those branded theaters, so I'm not familiar.
Oh, us plebs and our AMCs and our Regals.
Well, no, okay, so the movie theater I go to is the reclining seats. It's very fancy, whatnot, but it's $6 a ticket because they expect you to order food, which you don't have to do.
I know, that's like,
it's amazing.
that's not a normal theater experience.
It's amazing, though.
I wish that's what I had. I freaking wish, but yeah. But no, $6. I didn't realize that. That's wild.
Yeah, it's $6.25 per ticket.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, that sounds great. But for all of us normies, we're stuck watching Toyota corn. Like, I buy a popcorn so I have something to do while I watch the fucking ads and trailers. And then the movie starts and my popcorn is 3/4 gone. And then I'm full and I feel disgusting. And the movie finally starts.
$18.50, and by the time I get done with taxes and the Fandango thing, it's like $19-20 depending. Yeah.
And then also, Erwin, so I actually tried to get to the movie theater early because if I do want to order food, you don't want to do it while the trailer's going when people are, trying to raise their voice and stuff like that. They encourage you to show up early to get your order in. So
yes. Now that sounds great. And that's what theaters have to start doing because essentially I pulled this article up because, like Sony execs and various other execs are complaining that the movie theater is cutting their balls off by warning people not to show up for a bunch of ads and whatnot. But the reason the theaters have to do it is because the studio execs put their heads up their ass and decided to lose a shit ton of money. And the theaters are being forced to do this stuff. So it's your fault, studio execs. But meanwhile, they're... because we talked about this the other day, and we're like, haha, that's funny. We didn't think much about it. But according to Deadline, the buzz with studio execs is they are not happy about it one bit. And once I start thinking about it, I'm like, oh, yeah, actually, that makes sense. We got the percents because so many people actually go see the trailers. A lot of the normies don't. I still see people who like check their phones during the trailers. Like, when the fuck is this thing going to start? Not everyone realizes you got to show up 25 minutes late. So they still trick a lot of people. But if you warn them when they buy their ticket, then you don't get those suckers to watch 30 minutes of ads and trailers for you.
yeah.
And then you got a dying Hollywood who's failing. And then all of a sudden, one of your big marketing things is no longer happening. Yeah, it's bad for Hollywood. And then, of course, instead of studio execs saying, hey, let's make good stuff and people will come to the theaters and we can save the theaters. Instead, they say, oh, those dirty theaters, can't believe them. I hope Hollywood fails. Unlimited pass.
Popcorn bucket.
I was about to say unlimited pass is, I think, the answer. It's the Xbox Game Pass of movies.
I'd rather buy gelato at my movie theater than one of those popcorn buckets.
I asked about the Jurassic World one, and it's like $35, and it's the biggest piece of crap, and would still look terrible. And it doesn't even have the Retardosaurus Rex inside. There's at one point you see like a little two-headed weird chimera looking thing. That's the toy that comes with it. So they don't even give you the Retardosaurus Rex toy. You get some other random like background dinosaur abomination. But hey, $35. I considered it, and then I laughed and said, nah, I'm good. Dan Rather cried because Trump got $16 million settlement with CBS. Suck it. Essentially, ABC had to do the same, and then all of the people who work for ABC went, wee, wee, and Dan Rather's bitch ass came out to go, wee, wee, it's extortion by the president, wee. And for those of us who love journalist tears, It's a lovely read.
It's a
recommend it.
shame that they would dare to call themselves journalists. I think they lost that a long time ago.
But I mean, don't they try to do the same thing to Alex Jones on the reverse side of things? So
they deceptively edited multiple interviews in an attempt to influence an election. That there's no journalistic integrity there. There's no just presenting what someone says.
There's lots of rules for like the media and elections and shit like that.
Fair use and many other things like that. Yeah, no, this is an ongoing.
Equal time and whatnot.
You don't hate them enough. You don't hate them enough. Nice ball.
Shut up, Bobby. Yeah, I really want to just throw it in the dumpster, but like there's so many memories, I can't just throw it in the dumpster. I throw most things in the dumpster. I'm pretty easy, easy come, easy go, hard come, easy go. Oh.
So when Bernie is on Rogan talking about how he should not be suing, blah, 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 it's threatening. It's like, but and Joe has said, but all they have to do is not lie about him, and all they have to do is just be truthful about what they're reporting on, and there's no window to be sued.
Yeah, but their ideas are terrible, and they can't win on a level playing field, so they have to lie, tag, smear. Yeah, they're dirty smear merchants, 100%. And here's one of their victims, Peter Sarsgaard, on Elon Musk's Mars plan, going to a No Kings protest and how we're all fucked. Peter Sarsgaard of the Sarsgaard family. It wasn't until recently that I realized there's a whole freaking family. And ABF, wait, I got to do it. Sorry, I'm trying. IMDb Generation Kill. We got to talk about it since we're talking some Sarsgaard.
By the way, real quick, if you watch that, Bernie just didn't know what he was walking into, and he should have, because he's been on Rogan before. He did this whole thing about he needs the government needs money, blah blah blah, and then Rogan's like, "But why would I give them money if they're corrupt?" Like by what you just said. And he's like, "Well, that's true. That's a point. I don't know." Yeah, so what the fuck? And everything you're complaining about, they did to you, and he even had to acknowledge the Democratic Party fucked him over, and so he's like, "So if they're all corrupted, why do we keep going back?" He's like, "That's also a good point. I don't know, Joe."
Oh, and also, you're not an outsider. You want everything that like Joe Biden did times 100 and ruin absolutely everything.
The billionaires, but you're a billionaire.
No, it was the millionaires, and then became a millionaire.
The thousandaires.
Didn't have a real job till he was 40 when he became like a mayor of a town or some shit, and then he married into money. So he literally married a rich bitch, and he
just go on
you
might like people. Just go watch the last 10 minutes of that Rogan with him. It's literally him getting fact checked by fucking Rogan, just like repeatedly, and like no emotion, not even a gotcha. Just a retard. Joe didn't even need to ask Jamie. It was just that obviously. It was great, dude. I was very happy. Days never ending. Shut up.
Yeah, they can't hold their own in a debate, and now they're starting to realize that these podcasts are kind of important, and
they're going that long.
Yep, exactly.
And they're gonna have to make changes. We need a left-wing Joe Rogan. Well, you idiots already had one, and you do have one. His name's Hassan Piker. Have fun with that.
Well, I mean, you had like the Bill Maher's and stuff like that too, and they kind of pushed him away because he tried to say factful things every once in a while. So
literally just every once in a while, and then everything else he agreed on. It's like J.K. Rowling. You step out of line on like one issue, and attack mode. All right, let's get back to the Sarsgaard idiot real quick. The enemies are the forces that divide us. Oh, yeah, the far left and the globalists 100% agree. There is no going it alone. As my country retreats from its ABF, as my country retreats from its global responsibilities and tries to go alone. ABF thoughts on America's global responsibilities?
I don't think that we have any of those other than world policing, I guess.
America.
Can't seem to shake that one.
Oh, we got to keep the tarts in line one way. Yes. Oh my God. So we're not being globalist enough. And then it's being divided into factions from within. Factions of politics, gender, sexuality. Yeah, the far left is splitting us into factions. Jews split over the war. And then it follows up with Maggie Gyllenhaal, his wife, identifies as Jewish.
What the?
I didn't know you could identify as Jewish.
Did she do that for a loan or something?
So essentially, he's like, here's all these problems that my side of the aisle created. We need to solve all those problems by getting even more radical. We're all going to die. Whoops. Shit. We're all going to die. Our children are all going to live on the same planet, and maybe Elon Musk's will live on Mars. It doesn't look that nice to me. I think you have to be born on Mars and never have seen Earth to think Mars is nice. Okay. We're all fucked. So we have to connect by chopping each other's kids' balls off. It's very simple. That's not even political. I'm not political in that way. I'm not endorsing candidates, but chop your kids' balls off. And then he talks about Neuromancer. I play a guy who's created a kind of AI that is used all over the world, and he's basically the most powerful, richest guy in the world. And because the world is going to shit, he has a place where he can be that's far away. So I'm playing an Elon Musk style character. Awesome. Can't wait to see Neuromancer, which I was actually looking forward to. Have an Elon Musk character. Awesome. Yeah, I know, right? Those motherfuckers. We'll just go to Mars while this one goes to shit. Awesome. And then, here we go. Actually, Badger will probably appreciate this. Gets a little woo-woo here. Sarsgaard did mention how apocalypse-fearing technology and other billionaires have been building survivalist bunkers. Quote, I've heard more rich people talk about this. Many wealthy people are buying properties, say, in New Zealand. That's where all the globalists are going for when they destroy, like, the Earth. They're in New Zealand. And they've heard
never
that...
get it.
What?
It's going to Mars thing. It's like,
oh,
do you realize how easily we could just get hit by an asteroid and it would all just be over? We need to proliferate and have multiple second chances. Like that's...
Yeah, the multi-planetary beings.
Do you know how lucky we are that our fake moon was put perfectly in the Goldilocks zone to stop? But like that, then not gonna last forever, folks. Just takes one.
And then I just learned apparently the moon, like the dust on the moon, is actually like super like razor sharp and eventually just tears through everything. So the moon is actually pretty damn uninhabitable.
The same is true for Mars as well. But if you can create an atmosphere that can go away over time.
Yeah, so it's gonna be it's gonna be robots for quite some time, one would imagine. But
it's only an island if you look at it from the shore.
Okay. So end of the world, we all know it's coming. Climate change. Let's talk about that. I actually have a piece of property that's way out in the woods, and it has its own water source. It's a great place to be, maybe for climate change. And I hear people say this sometimes. Where's the best place to be for climate change? The question doesn't even make sense. ABF, what's the best place to be for climate change?
Well, this person says that they have their own water source, which means they're pulling from a water table. I mean, if there's too much climate change, that water table won't exist anymore. So that whole mentality kind of goes out the window. But I don't know. It's stupid. Why are they thinking about that so much?
Because they're somewhat read into the plan and they're trying to make their survival doomsday bunkers because they understand that the other elite run by their master Satan wants to destroy the planet. So they're read into it a wee bit. Who bought North Dakota?
Piedmont, North Dakota. That's the best place to go during apocalypse. Everyone knows. One of the Dakotas.
Yes, makes sense. But then he points out, but then everyone's going to go to where like the water and resources are, so you're still fucked. And blah, blah, blah. I was really moved about a collective action, the No Kings protest. All right, go fuck yourself. I'm not political. Go fuck yourself. So speaking of Sarsgaards, Generation Kill. ABF, tell chat why they need to watch Generation Kill.
Well, because this TV show or miniseries was made before everybody got hyper political on everything, and it's a show about politics actually. And also they drop my favorite gamer words every single episode.
Every single episode? You mean every single minute of the show? Yeah, there's a gamer word.
This is actually a show that could not be made anymore. And I think that it was pretty fair with how they showed our US military invading a country.
Yeah, they showed them like calling the Rolling Stones reporter like a bunch of gamer words, but then it also showed like our military being a bunch of retards. And then it showed us like killing a bunch of like children, but then a bunch of like crazy jihadis and whatnot are actually idiot, horrible monsters too. So it actually does show all the sides. And the dialogue. This is something you mentioned. This is something I've noticed in other shows, the shows that I watch that I really appreciated, is they'll have a funny little conversation and then like the soldier will walk off to like do another like walk and talk. But as they're walking away, you hear a little aside, one last little line that they slip in from the previous conversation. And it's like almost always like a 10 out of 10 fucking hilarious. So every scene's over, they're about to do a walk and talk in another scene, and you just get one extra little bit of line of dialogue or like background talk. And it's so freaking good, right, ABF?
Yep. And basically like, starts walking away and you hear him like mumble, like, this is why you're so gay or something like that. It's just the funniest thing. And just, aside from the side conversations, the conversations, I don't know, they must have had military personnel, actual Marines, make these conversations because they are just so funny. Like
and all this slang and like code words they use.
One of the silliest things was they're hiding under their Humvees during active conflict. And the reporter is down there, and he said, the one driver guy, what's his name? Ray. He says, "Hey, reporter, lay down with your dick on the ground as the Abrams tanks roll by. It feels fucking awesome." It's just like stupid stuff like that is so funny.
It's far more about the character than the story, because the story, that's one issue I had is I understand having like incompetent higher ups and having to deal with like constant like screw ups and everything just getting worse and everything that can't go wrong going wrong. I get it, like there's a lot of good in there, but it really felt like massive incompetence, gamer words, massive incompetence, gamer words.
So
And
you
I
are
really,
familiar with our military.
yeah, but like from a storytelling perspective, I definitely preferred like a Band of Brothers, where there was plenty of like the incompetence from the higher ups. Whereas there's a lot more other stuff where it got a little repetitive, but it's so darn good. It's like when you're eating a really delicious meal, after a while you kind of get a little numb to the taste, but it's still really good,
Yeah.
It's just you start getting a little numb to it. So I wish it had gone a little more into other story or character stuff like in Band of Brothers. But for like what it is and what we got, and the presumably is a bit more realistic than if they try to like fictionalize it all. It's pretty fucking good. I took this off my list twice, and ABF held me down and forced it back onto the list, and I'm glad he did. It's not my kind of show. I enjoyed it.
I put it on your list in the first place because you didn't like the movie Warfare, because you thought that like the radio talk was too complicated, this and that. This show does
I thought it was too boring.
Okay, but this show does a little bit, better job like explaining, stuff like that. Like, the reporter will ask, what do you guys keep calling that guy Whiskey Tango for? And they're like, oh, white trash, like they do a good job at explaining all the military lingo to people.
That wasn't an issue I had in Warfare. I understood like what they were doing at all time.
Okay.
I just didn't want to watch them say a bunch of numbers and letters into a walkie-talkie for 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then have no characters or character arcs or development or really any story. Just basically be a bottle episode of realistic warfare, which is cool for like what it is, but I thought I was getting a movie, and it definitely wasn't a movie. This is very much so a show. Now, there isn't some big overarching story where they defeat the Iraqi dragon or anything.
Yeah, I just think it's great the way they put all the cast together, because you had Fruity Rudy, who took his job way too seriously and was like questionably
so many
gay.
Good characters.
Yeah,
so many good characters.
Tromley.
Oh wait,
who joined,
the super jack dude.
Yeah,
and then he gets punched in the. Yeah, they play football at the end, and it doesn't go very well.
Tromley is a character that is very realistic, because people legit do join the Marine Corps because they want to see what it's like to kill someone.
I'm trying to find him, but if Isaac hasn't seen it, the character, like, he is going to feel so fucking represented.
Where's that from? There's some like monologue where the guy's talking about the type of people that join the military. He's like,
it's one of the crazies.
There's three types of people that join the military. There's people that have a military history in their family and they want to serve their country. There's people that have no option and they want free schooling. And there's motherfuckers that just want to kill people legally. Sometimes it's all three.
Yep. And then the character Lieutenant Fick. Lieutenant Fick, he was constantly getting in trouble for doing the right thing. And I think that was so, and that was they did problem. It so well.
Yeah, but it was just too much. It was just always frustrating. He needed to get like a couple wins in there, but it's still good. And seeing, like the camaraderie is like, men are like, we got your back. And he's like, shut the fuck up. You ain't got shit. Don't worry about stuff that's your problem. Like,
well, I think though
that
because this is, written from the Rolling Stones perspective, I think that that's probably how it actually played out.
And that's it. So that's the other thing is you got the Rolling Stones guy who at first is just gets
Remember
bullied,
when Rolling Stone like meant something?
Yeah, even like Vice and stuff.
Well, no, when he gets to the Humvee, they start calling him like a liberal fuck and stuff like that. But he quickly becomes like a likable person to everyone's eyes. So
steal the picture of his girlfriend and pass it around to Jo too. And he's like, "Can I get that? Can I get that back?" And I was like, "I haven't seen it." And
Jinx Oscar
wait,
too.
You made the picture. Oh, did it have like a stain on the picture?
Yeah.
Like, no, he's like, nope, haven't seen it. Sorry.
And yeah, they call him all the words. Alexander Sarsgaard character really great, and then his little kind of like right hand man, the Latino, which holy racism! Oh my god, it's not just like dropping British sausages. They are go full blowns into some race relations in this show.
Well, he goes hard on how the white man is bad, but then you ask him about his own people, and he's like, "No, my people suck. That's why I hang out with the white man."
yeah, they'll stab you behind a dumpster. All right, so the person I was most represented by, and always my favorite, including favorite of Band of Brothers, the comedic relief who will not shut the fuck up. Man, I love him. Who's purposely just weird and just making shit up and just trolling just to pass the time. Badger, have you seen this show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
First time I saw Alexander Skarsgård before he played Eric in True Blood.
I think that was the same for me, except I only watched a couple of episodes of True Blood. I couldn't get into it.
Did you watch the episodes where Anna Paquin is just like getting railed fully naked?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't
I
not
just
enough
thought
to keep you, huh?
It was over the
HBO
top.
Different.
It was too much.
Was it?
Yeah.
Like too much what? Like gory or just too much?
It was just over the top, like crazy. I don't know.
Oh, well, I feel like it's somewhat grounded for a vampire. It's literally like out in the bayou vampires.
Sounds like a man who hasn't gone on a vampire fuck spree while tasting their blood and getting high.
I don't know. I like Blade. I never liked True Blood.
It's too much for me in a way that like HBO is too much for me because like the gay black cook character like is actually pretty great, but he's a little much.
Lafayette. Bro, there's a scene where he's like
when the
who ordered
vampires
the
die,
AIDS burger? And he goes, "Oh my god, I love that dude. Rest in peace."
And for those who enjoy that sort of dialogue, definitely recommend Generation Kill. You get a lot of very adult dialogue.
So, first couple seasons of True Blood, I would totally recommend. It definitely does go. What ABF is saying in the first, it definitely is at like the 4th and 5th season. It's a lot, but at least the first 3 is kind of. They got a whole thing.
Generation Kill, 7 episodes, which I was very happy to see. If this thing was like 13 or something, then I may have had a complaint or two. But it's pretty much perfect length. It's an HBO miniseries, so it's a similar, like production value of, like Band of Brothers or whatever, but it's not quite. It's a lot of like desert and whatnot.
It's not on the same level. Yeah, it's not on the same level as Band of Brothers, but it deserves to be on, lists with Bands of Brothers. Just further down a little bit. It's really good.
8.4 out of 10 is very good on IMDb, and I 100% recommend this to Isaac. If he has not seen it, he will love it.
Shocked if he hadn't seen that.
Yeah, I know. There's no way he hasn't.
Yeah.
It was literally made for him. All right, Badger, this one's for you.
By the way, I'll just say this. There is a scene where Eric, played by Alexander Skarsgård, his maker, like doesn't want to be alive anymore. And holy fuck, does he act his ass off in that scene? I've still never seen more compelling acting from him than that scene where he's begging his fucking master not to end his life. Like, holy shit. Yeah.
And now really that I realize he's gay, some of the stuff I remember seeing makes more sense too, because Is
Skarsgård gay?
Is he? Wait, who? Which one? Alexander?
Yeah.
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 That's why he keeps doing all that queer shit. Yeah. Alexander Skarsgård.
He's fucking great at
Okay.
playing it straight.
What?
That's why Urban kept taking it off the list, because every time he would see Alexander, he's like, get this shit off my list.
Oh, well,
I don't think Alex is gay.
okay,
right?
so
Gabby?
he's not official, but there's rumors, and he's an LGBTQ ally, and has been
Yeah.
spotted partying
That's
at a
pretty
gay
gay.
club.
That's pretty gay.
And he parties at gay clubs. He just wants to see what it tastes like. He's not gay.
I'm sure he smashes all the puss. He's a real man.
Okay, so yeah,
He had a
it's
daughter and he has a Swedish girlfriend. Well,
it's a John Travolta situation.
there you go.
Oh, is that true?
I don't get gay vibes. I get gay vibes from Travolta. I don't get gay vibes from Skarsgård.
Oh,
He's no
okay.
Pedro. Like
I mean, he's got a RuPaul Drag Race while he's kissing a dude. But,
I mean, you're lucky you weren't in Vegas. I'd have given you a smooch just like that. Come here, you prince.
Would you be wearing a shirt like that too?
hunky
Yeah, I
actor
don't
Alexander Skarsgård had a gay old time in Sweden over the weekend.
Plus, Europeans and Scandinavia. Yeah, it's all a little
It's
different
called-
than.
Club Backdoor, which is billed as Scandinavia's biggest gay club. So, okay. So at least I'm not crazy for thinking he's gay. He's also, the last 2 movies he's been in has been gay as fuck. One was literally called Queer. So, yeah.
He doesn't feel gay.
He's
I know what gay
certainly-
feels like.
Certainly
Doesn't feel
gay
gay.
adjacent. Badger, you'll appreciate this one. Sinners producer says costumes were purchased from Marvel's Blade reboot that ended up not shooting. They had a warehouse full of period appropriate clothes. So 100% beyond confirmation.
Almost
one of the
brought this
reasons-
up last night.
One of the reasons Blade got canceled or hasn't
Well-
been made is because it's just Sinners.
And not one of the reasons, but yeah, proof that for a long time it was going to be a period piece that would have been a miss. Please don't make Blade about fucking black people. That's not what Blade's about. Blade's a vampire hunter. Make it about killing vampires. Sorry, Ryan Coogler needs to stay the fuck away from Blade. Literally, that's what X-Men is for.
Yeah.
Sorry. If you want a fucking social, that is what X-Men is for. For that.
I don't remember Blade very
not
much.
Blade.
Is there really very other? He is black, but there's very much blackness like in the show. It's just him hunting vampires, right?
Yeah.
And he just happens
Just
to
him
be
hunting vampires.
incredibly black. Like Wesley Snipes, like is yeah. When you talk about how black someone is, like the furthest in is usually defined as Wesley Snipes.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't think, and I saw it way too young as a kid. Friend's dad let us go see it. I was way too young to see Blade in the theater. I had zero thoughts about him being black. More thoughts
I
about,
want it to
wow,
be
that's a lot of blood.
Black as night. I want to. You will not see me unless I smile. And then and only then. Yeah, but no.
Ross. No. Stop it. All right. Badger, you can veg out for a second.
Yeah.
Chainsaw Man movie coming to theaters October 29th. I meant to talk about this yesterday because Gooch has unlimited pass in Regal, so he can actually go see this October 29th. And fucking wait, yes. ABF, you're not allowed to watch Chainsaw Man for a little while. Frieren Beyond Journeys 2 Season 2 trailer unveiled, and it sets a January 2026 release. So 6 more months for some Frieren. I didn't super care for the first season, but it ends with them finally going to do something I actually cared about. So I'm hoping season 2, they actually do something. And if they do, I'll probably like it considerably more. So fingers crossed. Black Clover, chat. Yes, I knew. I covered it very quickly. I did not express my opinions because I did not want to make Hayden or Jessica sad at me. Now, chat, I put Black Clover on the list and I'm interested. It looks really good. There's a bunch of seasons though, but they got a new season in production. Black Clover. Recommend for my weebs out there? Let me know. I might have to move it up on the list if so. My Hero Academia All's Justice. So it's a My Hero fighting game. And God, just the style and just the characters themselves. If I cared about fighting games, I'd actually be pretty interested. Do any of you guys care about fighting games? Just like 2D Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter style?
I used to care about Mortal Kombat. I literally played it for the story and would go through it in single player and the cinematics, but then they really fucked that up.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't care, but it's one where like that looks like what they're giving us, what the actual audience for that wants. Now, the big one, the big tab. Pokemon the first movie is now free to watch on YouTube. What? So I was recently telling Tomac if he needed any suggestions, I would love to watch a Pokemon movie, but Now I just might have to watch the OG. Anyone else
The
see
best
it
one, I think.
as a kid? This
Yeah.
part, seeing in theater as a kid, holy crap. Half the theater was probably crying at that moment.
You were mentioning yesterday to someone about like when you would get up for school, the shows that were on. When I got up for school, it was well, if I got up super early, it was Bananas in Pajamas. But after that, Pokemon and Sailor Moon. Back-to-back syndication. So watched multiple seasons of that just because they were on in the morning. Yeah, Sailor Moon.
Okay, yeah, I had forgotten it. You didn't mention that when I reviewed that Sailor Moon movie for
Because I don't know beyond that, but like that first one, whatever, Tuxedo Mask, who I always thought was badass, and then the lore that they're reincarnated from the fucking like kingdom on the moon or whatever. Like it was cool. It was great lore.
So I'm saying, Hayden, I kind of want to watch it. So I've got a long list of movies to watch. So if anyone wants to force me to watch the Pokemon movie, I will happily be forced to. Did anyone remember these back when Pokemon toys were what the fuck? They had the little golden cards inside of the Pokeballs. I definitely had one or two of these, but my favorite was when you went to the movie, they gave you a Mew card. How many chatters had a Mew card? You couldn't play it. It was unusable. It was in like hieroglyphics, but it's a holographic Mew card. And I loved that thing. I was so proud of it. Everyone who didn't have it was a fake fan and a little bitch. I was a real fan because I had the Mew card and the golden Pokemon Pikachu.
We had a proper country.
Yes. Oh wait, was it Burger King? Oh yeah, it is Burger King because of the bun. Okay, I thought it was McDonald's.
Burger King used to be so much better.
I know. They had the King, which was amazing marketing. It was so good marketing. They literally like made a game out of them, and people would actually like play the game and be like lol and whatnot. They had such a good thing going, and their Whoppers are like actually large, but they're shit.
And they were good.
Well, yeah, they were.
Depending
they were
on your
good.
location.
Yeah. Depending on location and employees.
Okay, yeah, that's
location.
true. Yeah.
Man, I'd rather have a fucking Whopper than anything at McDonald's, though. Unfortunately, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, last
Just
time I
based
went
on
to
like
Burger King.
Well, again, I guess we're talking peak location.
Yeah.
But
we even like Pizza Hut used to be a peak location, man.
Red Roof.
We're at the point.
Yeah, go ahead. We're at the point where In-N-Out Burger is like cheaper than McDonald's and Burger King, and it tastes way better. So
at least they have some morals, literally, and consistency.
I can't do fast food. I get like acid reflux or used to, and I just kind of stopped eating because it's just so trashed and gross. And by the time you got home, it's like freaking cold. And then I just stopped eating fast food. And so now if I ever dabble, my stomach's usually not very happy with me, which it's probably a good thing. I usually got to go to like the fancy pants, the Paneras and Chipotles and what have you, the casual fast or whatever the hell you call it. Okay, Pokemon movie, can't wait. And if you are interested in it, you can't just look it up. Pokemon TV channel is the one with it. And chat replay is disabled for this premiere. So that means they premiered it. So they had like a live stream chat for the original Pokemon. Oh, all the member berries must have been going on. Oh, that's nice. They should definitely premiere, like live stream premiere old movies. I think like, they're just sitting there not doing anything and then set them free for like 6 months or something like that. I think that's a really good idea. Okay. Step Brothers. Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, no, okay, we can go back to the fast food debate.
As opposed to McDonald's and Wendy's that only hires gentrified white people. Like, what the fuck? Almost every, like, literally the only difference would be In-N-Out, who is a Christian run, and they have certain standards, and all of their employees look a very certain way, and they act a very certain way. But they do have black people there. They're just not ghetto black people.
Yes, no neck tattoos. Yeah, I assume Chick-fil-A does that too, and Chick-fil-A is wildly popular.
Sure, yeah.
Meanwhile, like there's certain like Wendy's and like Rallies or what Checkers for most people. I at a certain point said I'm never eating here ever again because there's always just the meth heads working there, and there was just so many problems repeatedly. Where I was like, yeah, no, I'm no longer frequenting your establishment. Meanwhile, like Chick-fil-A has like double drive-through lines that's like backed up around the corner. Amazing what happens when you have some sort of baseline for employees. And like I worked at the Domino's delivering pizzas, and we hired literally any retard that came in. Holy crap! The lack of standards was
walk in a straight line.
Insane. Yeah, no, it's. Oh, you're just out of prison. Well, as long as you cover all your neo-Nazi tattoos up, you're fine. Literal,
do you know
true story
about Dave Thomas and how he actually worked with the Colonel in Kentucky Fried Chicken for decades before going out to make Wendy's?
I like Wendy's. I put up with shit Wendy's for so long before I had to finally give up on it.
I've watched way too many videos about the makings of all of this. Dave Thomas, never graduated high school and went on to be a billionaire.
What was the McDonald's movie? Did you ever watch that? That was
I love that. Founder. I own that. That's a comfort movie. Ray Kroc with Michael Keaton. Yeah, it's just his performances. And also, you watch that. No offense, he didn't steal shit from McDonald's. They had no vision. McDonald's would still be one fucking store without Ray Kroc. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have given them their 1% that he didn't in perpetuity or whatever. But other than that, bro, every good idea seemed to have been from him. And he cared about consistency, which was what we were just talking about. Like, 2 pickles, you could do it like this, motherfucker. Yeah, I don't know. Man, Founder's a really good movie. Just again, Michael Keaton.
Speaking of comfort movies, Step Brothers. I'm so tired of everyone quoting this for so long. It was a real Seinfeld moment where I was like, I have to watch this just so I can understand what the hell the people on my panel and chat are saying.
Did we just become best friends?
6.9 out of 10. Nice. Wish. It's like, I used to watch a bunch of like TV comedy. So I like my bam, 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 bam kind of comedy. I was expecting a bit of that from Step Brothers, and I keep expecting it from comedy movies, and I keep forgetting, oh wait, they don't bam, 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 bam like a TV show. They do more of story and stuff. Very good. I was very happy. I was not disappointed. Wasn't exactly like a 10 out of 10 comedic masterpiece, but god dang it, I get why all of you loved it.
So this is where I first started to like Catherine Hahn. That's Agatha, right? Like,
yeah.
When she's like trying to have sex with the bat, she's like, "Oh, it's squishy." Like, that joke has been made so many. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and her and Adam Scott, like, they both did a really good job. Yeah, and John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell both did amazing freaking jobs.
They all do really good.
A lot of good acting.
That's and the dad. I don't give a fuck.
And there was a surprising amount of good like character moments and story moments as well, which is like you don't necessarily expect out of a comedy. And it was Adam McKay back when he actually used to make good movies and whatnot. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is actually like genuinely a pretty good movie. Not even just like a good comedy, a good movie. And it's actually like competently directed and written. I'm like, oh.
Pow. Are you saying bow or pow? Pow. Pow.
Pow. You know how many times I quote, there's so much more room for activities now?
Yes,
that's super.
That's why I had to watch the movie, so I could finally understand
quotable.
What you guys were saying. Yeah. And that's, so I got my universal scoring where we have 10,000 categories and 10 million subcategories. Quotability is absolutely one of those.
Did you see I Love You, Man? Paul Rudd.
That's a good one.
That's
I like
very
that
comparable, and it's also pretty quotable. Okay.
Yeah.
Slap in the
that was back when,
yeah.
Yeah, I say slap in the bass many a time. Yeah, that was back when, like Jason Segel, and that was when I liked Seth Rogen comedies back
I know.
Then. That was nice. But then he went the route of Kevin Smith. So dumb.
So sad.
So, yeah, how long? We're on an hour? Yeah, Step Brothers, it's amazing. I could keep going on and on. We could keep quoting it. Just the whole premise itself is so freaking good. And then they're going to therapy, and the therapist is like, you guys are like to blame for all of this. And then he hits on her, and it's really inappropriate. But then he ends up hooking up with the therapist at the end. Like, she ends up falling, and they actually have a little bit of character arc where they actually mature and like get real jobs and stuff. I'm like, character arcs? There's more character stuff in Step Brothers than in Jurassic World Rebirth.
I love when they get dressed up in the tuxedos and they go out for that job interview. Then was it Seth Rogen? They like John C. Reilly just starts farting. Looks
like mine.
Yeah, he starts farting, and he's like, "Did you just fart?" He's like, "Oh, I thought that was silent." No, it was pretty loud.
Or when you probably saw Flight of the Navigator, right? But you would have been young.
Flight of the Navigator?
I watched that when I was pretty young too. Great movie.
Where a kid he falls into like a ravine and he finds a spaceship.
Yeah, that's where I learned as a young child
I
about
think you
time
would like
dilation.
it. Yeah, this is where I learned
Oh.
time dilation and like UFO shit.
I had like math in my head. I'm like, has Tomac had me watch this? Because this feels like something Tomac would have me watch.
Paul Rubens does the voice of the ship like robot.
Also a 6.9 out of 10. Should it go on the wheel?
I've watched it multiple times.
Because I believe it was previously on the wheel or on like the IMDb list back in the day. So Fly the Navigator going on the wheel?
Yeah. So the whole crux of the movie is after his brief little ride, when he goes back, it's been 15 years because of time dilation. So it's the whole movie is him trying to undo. It's good.
That's
real good. I think you'd like it.
That's how you do a premise right there. Yeah.
I say a young Sarah Jessica Parker.
I'm liking all the sets. So like full like chrome metal sets and whatnot.
The ship probably still holds up really well.
I see this and I'm like, tell me more. Is it going to turn into a Power Ranger? I hope
You'd
so.
like the dynamic between the two.
Yeah, it's a very, very like family friendly movie. Good.
It was Walt Disney in 1986. They did this thing where they made things for families instead of for queers. Yes. This is radical concept.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Well, I am interested. And that's not our last movie. We got a little Rocky 4.
Yep.
But first,
Ethan Hawke. Sorry. River Phoenix, I think, is in there. Or yeah. OG.
This is what, a 6.4 out of 10?
They build a spaceship and they're.
I am intrigued. So, so kind of like.
You ever seen Explorers?
I don't
like
think so.
Oh, and trailers didn't show
is it
anything. Yeah.
Kids?
It's
So is it like a
it's
proto
kids.
Super
Three
8,
friends.
essentially?
Yeah, but like better.
That
Better?
sounds interesting.
I like
I'm
Super 8.
gonna check it out. Explore.
Yeah, because one's their parents are
Oh.
geniuses, and so he's a genius, and
What
yeah.
the ABM?
It's Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is a kid.
Wait, maybe I have seen this.
We had to, but we would have. You would have been real young.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, dude.
Yeah, I think I have seen it. Okay.
Okay, what the hell? All right, I'm throwing it on the list. There's a reason I cleared the wheel. Oh, I'm throwing it on the wheel rather. Was it Explorers? All right, perfect. So, got a fun little meme here. Accepting the existence of magic in a fantasy setting should not be easier than accepting the existence of disabled people in a fantasy setting. Any thoughts on this image?
How did her legs get muscular?
Oh my god, I didn't realize that was freaking jacked.
Those like the little tens unit, maybe they shock them to develop the muscles.
Yeah, guys, why can't you accept this? What if we made it pink energy and it floated above the ground?
What if it was pink energy and it floated? Go suck a lemon. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah,
horrible.
We're not the problem here either. Yeah, we are.
I'm handy capable.
Yeah, but not in fantasy setting. Ball X pit, or as the cool kids just say, ball pit. So Badger likes himself some AAA like open world adventure 100 like hour games. Like that's his jam, or like some dead MMOs like that. That's his jam. My jam is in weird ass indie games is my jam. I like that's what's beautiful. Expedition 33 is it's AA, and it can bring the indie enjoyer and the AAA enjoyer together to enjoy the AA game. I can't imagine that Badger would be particularly interested in this, but the second that I think it was Rhino or someone mentioned this. So it's a brick breaking, ball fusing, base building, survival roguelite. If you have that many descriptors and tags in your game, sign me up. So there are the various you'll get like the YouTube ads for mobile games that don't exist, and you're like, son of a bitch, I wish you were real, I want to play you. But they made it real, and it's brick breaker for modern age, but you also get to like build your town, and also it's a survival roguelite, and then presumably you get to go back and build up your town, and it's also a bullet hell game as well.
It's kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie.
Currently a demo out. Yeah, that's like I said. Would not recommend it for Badger, but man, this seems like a game I could get a little addicted to.
Let's make a game of every single thing he doesn't like.
Correct. That was my thought. I went, oh, this sounds so awesome. And then my second thought was, oh my God, Badger would hate this so much.
Could you imagine how different Expedition 33 would hit if it was a top-down isometric with the same gameplay mechanics, but top-down? It just,
Yes, but also like you don't like the turn-based RPG, but they did that very well. So
that's
it's like,
different. All right.
I know. Well, it's so damn good it transcends genre.
They put a couple fingers in it first. They didn't just fist me. All right. They did it nice and slow. By the time I said, well, maybe I do like it. Yeah.
Next one up, I think Hayden already went ahead and purchased. I think he bought like 5 games after our Tuesday night political stream or something. Liar's Bar. So this is one, if I could stream games, we would already have probably played on a gaming stream. So essentially you get dealt cards and it'll be like a certain suit, or is it a number? I forget, but that's like, you have to play that. So essentially you put down cards face down. And then you're like, well, hey, I played 3 of those cards I was supposed to. Do you believe me or you want to call me out? And then if you get called out or you call someone out and it doesn't work or whatever, then you have to pull out the gun and do a little bit of Russian roulette. So it's a card game of bluffing. And then you get to try to decide if people are bluffing or not. And then you also got to do some bluffing, and whoever ends up losing gets to play some Russian roulette. And that's the game. And a lot of streamers played it. Looks a lot of fun. Looks like we may have to get around to playing it at some point. Some people have been mildly interested, and it's literally $3.50 currently.
Yep, I've got it in my library.
Oh, do you? Okay, yeah. So that's a game we may actually end up playing at some point. Be a really good stream game. And then I was like, I have all the Final Fantasies now. And then Tomac was like, you don't have Final Fantasy 12 or 13 or 14 or 15 or 16. I'm like, I know, but like all the Final Fantasy like 1 through 10 and then 10-2 now because I got that. So like I've got all the Final Fantasies. And he said, no, you own Final Fantasy 12 now though, so you're one step closer. So I don't even remember Final Fantasy 12. What is this? I don't understand. And now here's the problem. After playing Expedition 33, it's gonna be hard going to other JRPGs because like I'm playing Pokemon right now and I'm bored out of my fucking mind.
It doesn't have that extra little bit of engagement.
Yes, and
interactivity.
Even those that do,
it's been evolved.
Still not the same.
If they do KOTOR or like Saber, if they keep working, which because Saber and they did Space Marine, so I'm kind of excited about KOTOR now. And that one person left. This is how they need to do turn-based with the active input, dodging, and critical button.
And the RPG elements of it too, because a lot of like my Pokemon, like they can have 4 moves, and if I want to learn a new one, I have to like permanently unlearn one and stuff. So the builds are ridiculous. It's like all elemental based, whereas like elemental is just one little aspect of the combat, and it's so much more complex. And now it's gonna be hard going back.
I don't understand why Final Fantasy has the sequential number thing when most of them are separate, at least maybe for a couple at the end. Like, why would you just have different names for it? Why they're numeric? That makes me think they're connected.
Well, they often do. It's Final Fantasy, whatever, and then they'll throw the subtitle at the end. But it's name recognition. I get it.
It's not very final if there's 20 of them.
But it's one of those situations where it's like, people who put like the episode numbers like in their streams or whatever, it's like you get a new person, they're like, oh, episode 361. I don't know if I can get into it. That's a lot to get into. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. He better not be bad mouthing. I know he loves me. I've just totally revolutionized the turn-based games. They're all going to have to do that at some point. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's a sea change. Yeah, no, every once in a while a game will add a mechanic, and that is just now how things need to be.
Yep.
It's just
and
you've changed
the new standard.
The same happens when you have new genres emerge too. You know, like Phasmophobia inspired a bunch of other games like Lethal Company and stuff like that. And then the battle royales did the same thing. People copy
at a certain point, and I don't know what it was. Some fucking first-person shooter when you're running, if you hit the crouch button, you slide. Maybe I think Fear. Remember the Fear games? I think there was something like that. One of the first ones, and then that just became a thing where now. In most modern, if you fucking are running and you hit the crouch, you'll slide, and it's just you just build on.
And now Call of Duty has omnidirectional movement, and everyone loves it. And now everyone's gonna demand omnidirectional, like sliding and shit.
It can get repetitive unless you are switching up play styles, weapons, characters. I mean, I'm on what's essentially a third playthrough.
So play a Pokemon game. It's the most repetitive garbage, and there's so much just pressing the button to get through text boxes, telling you information that is totally worthless, not necessary at all. You're literally just pressing A to skip text box the whole fucking time, and it's the most repetitive damn thing ever. Expedition 33. What do you mean repetitive? Literally, you do a bunch of fighting, you get to do a boss, and then you go back to camp, and you have amazing character moments, and then you go off and do a side thing, and then you go do a main quest, and then you do amazing character moments, and then you do a bunch of fighting, and I thought it did a really good job of switching things up. And then you go to the Gestural Beach and get new bathing. Fear was great. Only play the first one though.
Yeah, I highly suggest getting this. They're probably like $4 right now on the Steam sale. Honestly, I thought the second one was better. So, bro, at least try out that second one.
Happens a lot in gaming. The second iteration is better.
Well,
They actually scared the shit out of me. Like, oh, they're a little jump scary though, Erwin. But like, you know, where like the ceiling turns to blood, and then you see footprints coming along the ceiling towards you, and like you go up the ladder. That little bitch with the long hair from The Ring is what she looks like, and she'll be staring. It's good. And you know, boom booms.
Oh yeah, no, I saw a buddy play it. It definitely looked good. Oregon Trail director's cut. I also now, so it's just Oregon Trail about zombies. So I now own this. And I own Super Wagon Adventure Time or something like that. And then Dragon Quest 11 S Definitive Edition, Legion of the Elusive Age, Echoes of the... Excellent. I've never played any Dragon Quest. Don't know anything about it.
Make everything better.
Look forward to playing it someday. I hope it has some interesting turn-based combat, or I'm going to be sad and disappointed. What I want is to play a Monster Rancher game, or like a Digimon, or something where I can take two monsters and then shove them together to evolve into like a bigger monster. Which I think would be Monster Rancher if I wanted that. Yes, I have plans. Oh yeah, what we at? We're into it. So one quick little one, Game Boy talk. Which Game Boy handheld did you have growing up? I cannot remember if I had an original Game Boy. I played one a bunch. I think I may have, but my real OG was I had the Game Boy, I think Pocket is what it was called, and I had the Ice Blue like special Target edition or something like that.
Yeah, I had
That's
the
my
advanced,
first real Game Boy.
the middle one, but in blue instead of red.
I had the original, and then I think after or before, had to have been after, I had the Sega Game Gear.
Oh yeah, that thing was a chunky hunk of shit. My buddy had one as well. So I think I had the OG piece of crap with like out in any color, and then I got this where it was actually reasonably sized. I didn't get the Game Boy Color, and then I didn't get Game Boy Advance, but then they created the Game Boy SP, where they finally decided to backlight it and put it in color and have all of the things that the Game Boy should have had. And you could play Game Boy Advance and backwards compatible Game Boy games, and it flipped. So it's nice and small and compact, and it felt cool. I love doing it.
Did you have all that? Because I remember I had the shit that like you could put it on, and it was like a magnifying glass, a light on it, an extra speaker. Yeah.
And that's what you had to do with the Game Gear as well, because it looks so terrible. And instead of having all that, they just made, instead of having a magnifying glass and the lights and whatnot, they finally backlit everything. So that Game Boy SP, Advanced SP, that was my jam. And then Pokemon, red or blue? I was a Pokemon blue kind of guy, and anyone who's a Pokemon red enjoyer, I'm not saying they should be put in camps, but they should be put on a watch list. Thoughts, chat? A reasonable size, that's what she said. Yes, it's how you use the Game Boy. Either of you guys play Pokemon?
I always pick Charmander as my first. Yes, I don't give a fuck if first boss is
So
water.
you could go fight
Just
the
level
rock?
up.
No, it's rock.
Level up other ones.
Yeah, actually, I don't have a good fire one. I'm using fucking Ponyta, who I named Jabronita, and I'm like literally grinding it to get a Rapidash, and I feel
It's
like
worth
a
it
child.
because by the time you get that Charizard, even though I would just use Turtle, Squirtle. I mean,
such a hated answer.
Blastoise, and then you just wave, spam attack, wave.
Oh, Blastoise was my jam. I like me some Venusaur, but Blastoise, yeah. Anyway, I started Blastoising.
Sunbeam, it's super effective.
Well, now, like, you can teach them so many, like, other moves, and it's all, like, elemental. My main character is a water dude. He knows one water, and then he knows how to fucking dig. He knows how to do, like, a metal attack, and he knows how to do, like, a rock attack.
Oh, yeah, sir, thank you. whatever.
Oh.
Wave, surf.
Did you do the missing no glitch to get like unlimited rare candies and stuff?
Mm-mm.
Okay, yeah. So there's a little island gym, and if you went to the right side and you put whatever in like your 7th position, you would just go up and down the coast, and then you fight missing no, which is just missing number, and it'd just be like a mess of like blocks and weirdness, and then you would, I think, run away from it. Yeah, you didn't want to kill it. The urban legend was if you killed it and it would destroy your game or something like that. So I always ran away from it, and then it would give you like 99 of whatever was in your 7 slot. So I don't think I ever fairly fought the Elite Four or whatever they were called. I level 99, whooped their asses probably every time, because fuck you, it's in the game. Yeah, cheated. And then you can get 99 Master Balls, and then all of the legendaries are yours. Yes, yeah, you get level 99 Pikachus. Yes. Oh, the good old days. But now we're in a different time of video games. Pirate Software responded to the Stop Killing Games campaign, surpassing 1 million signatures. Stop Killing Games. A lot of people keep telling us about Stop Killing Games. Badger, have you bothered looking into Stop Killing Games much?
I did a video, and it barely broke 100 views because... whatever, my channel sucks. Here it is. Got 1 million people to fucking sign. 1 million plus.
Well, to be fair, this isn't like a story that's taking off or anything. In fact, it's it's kind of sad that I wish that more people were talking about it. But yeah, no, it's the whole initiative is
So
ABF, where. Sorry.
You tell us what Stop Killing Games is, because I was told it was about one thing, and then more got added, and then everything got added, and then all of our problems with AAA gaming are now suddenly part of Stop Killing Games. So what are you under the impression Stop Killing Games is about?
It's to pressure the European Union, I believe, to create a standard to where if games are going to disconnect their online services, they must allow the game to be able to be played offline. So basically, you can't just turn off your servers and the game that you bought doesn't work anymore. Stop making it ding a online server, and a lot of that is just so that they can do digital rights management. So make sure that the game can't be pirated because it has to hit a server.
Now, what if it's an only like multiplayer? It's an only online game. Then are they allowed to take it off if there is no option? Because
That's
people
a
are like,
tough
oh,
one.
they need to make bots.
Right. That's a tough one. And I think that those might have to be an exception.
Right.
Well,
I mentioned it last night. Like things like an MMORPG, we go into those full well knowing eventually I will lose access to Star Wars The Old Republic, even though I play it and I've been playing it for 13
I thought everyone was going to be mad at me. Okay.
No. But a game like The Crew, where it's just me fucking flying around a map, single player, running around in a car, single player, you should be able to, but it's not. And that got sunset. And a perfect example that just happened was Anthem. Who you could very easily just have that local only, but they're sunsetting the servers and you will not be able to play the game at all.
It's funny that people are using that as an example, though. And I understand why they're using it as an example.
It's such a massive failure. It's exactly the sort of thing that should be shut down.
Does not matter. I still paid it.
I know, you're right.
There's no mechanic that I need to be online to fly around that open world. I actually like the flying. It's fun. I may want to play that I fucking bought for the rest of my life. I should be able to play it offline.
Yeah.
In a single player form.
I agree with you, but Anthem is a really shit game. And the fans around that game before it came out were touting it as a Destiny killer.
ABF, you bought Concord. Don't you want to be able to play it offline in local multiplayer? How dare you? You spent your money on my,
Listen, I bought Concord, but was refunded on Amazon because the retailer didn't want to sell it to me anymore.
Again, it doesn't matter if it's fucking Anthem.
I
know, but because everyone's latching on. The point is, it's a game that you paid for that you should be able to play offline. You can't, and now you've lost access.
I'm just pointing out. I think it's comical we're using that.
It is comical.
As an example.
Yes, it is. But it's just the most recent example of a sunsetted game.
So it's EA, and everyone's like, "Fuck EA," even though you're losing tons of money. Fuck you, keep losing money. But now, what if it's an indie game? Are indie games allowed to? If it's 20 years after he released the indie game, is he allowed to finally take the server offline?
Well, indie games, I think, are gonna not be affected by this because indie games don't have dedicated servers. doing this kind of stuff, because that's an extra level of maintenance and cost that indie developers typically don't put into their game, because they're gonna build out their game in a way that doesn't cost them money or infrastructure. So
yeah, and this is the DRM thing. Like, then just don't fucking code it into your game that I need to make a verification check with the server. Give me an offline mode in my game that I play most of the time in single player alone.
Yeah, one example I like to use is Battlefield. Battlefield 3 and 4 allow third-party servers to be made. So basically, you don't have access to the actual code yourself to build the server out. A data center does that they were trusted to. So all the games that came after Battlefield 4, they just do their own servers, and they're just allowed to kill the game whenever they want. Whereas Battlefield 4 will probably live on for a long, long time. Which I think they don't like that happens, because then people don't buy
on to the next one.
Yeah, they don't buy Battlefield 9 or whatever down the road. They just keep playing Battlefield 4. They probably hate that.
And then here's the thing. So here's the thing is that's kind of how it was explained to me. And now it's literally every single critique we have of live service games is now like people have put on to stop killing games. And now it's gotten like very tribal and it reminds me of the whole like $80 games and whatnot argument is people just get very, very tribal all of a sudden. And then we have someone who is a developer, very popular Twitch streamer, bit of a douche, if I'm not mistaken, where he's like, guys, this doesn't make a lot of sense as a developer. I don't like it. And then it basically became a Streisand effect where he told people not to sign it. And then everyone was like, well, fuck you, we're signing it. And then everyone made videos about how he hates Stop Killing Games. And then now he's getting like death threats and swatted and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, guys, maybe this Stop Killing Games is going a little too far. We're maybe getting a little too heated about it, guys.
That pirate gaming person,
Pirate Software.
Sorry, Pirate Software. They were being pointed out to be able to like explain arguments and subjects very, very well, but in this case they can't.
Oh yeah, no, he did not handle himself well at all.
So I think that there's just a lot of not being able to explain yourself, and also maybe this person was wrong on a thing or two and won't admit that when they were reading the actual language.
Well, at first I was like, oh, okay, yeah, the Stop Killing Game sounds good, but the more I hear about it, the more I'm like, I actually don't particularly support what's going on here anymore, because the bad behavior around it is not looking very good. And if you want people to take us seriously, we should probably have some good behavior, because if we're gonna spurg out super hard, why the hell would anyone ever listen to us? And then if one person disagrees, everyone just does the giant dog pile and starts brigading and whatnot, and then it's like, fuck, now we're doing what the left does.
Yeah,
I don't like doing what the left does.
Well, they're with this they're asking for the government to step in to help with games being broken, right?
Yes.
So we're asking, when you ask for the government for help, you need to be very clear and concise, and otherwise, government sucks at doing anything. So you really need to hold their hands.
Hopefully, what Hayden says is what the big actual takeaway is from most people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a big point of it is just making the game available for people to run it independently. If a dev is abandoning it, it just becomes sort of public. I think he sums it up pretty. I'm going to be honest with you. I hope that your initiative gets everything that you asked for, but nothing you wanted, and I'll leave it there. And that's what he's trying to say. He's just like, guys, we got to fully think this through a bit. We got to do a little bit of scratching the surface. Think about the next step. Wait, what about, indie games? Oh, what about this and whatnot? And they're like, oh, well, maybe we'll do exceptions here. Oh, well, maybe we'll do an exception there. And it's like, oh, well, now we have exceptions. And then it's people are like, oh, I like Stop Killing Games because of this little pet thing that I care about. And the other person's got the other like pet. And then it turns into a giant clusterfuck. And then one person's is like, hey, guys, I don't know if you're actually understand what you're asking for. And then it's dogpile, death threat, docs. Yeah. And then that's how you get a Gamergate. And
one thing too is I want to point out, when you do make an exception, like, Badger was pointing out, if it's like an MMO, that doesn't work. That doesn't work with what we're asking or what they're asking for, right? So you make an exception there, and what happens is that becomes a law or a rule that developers have to follow. and they'll just use that as a loophole to, because they'll build their games out to be that, or be similar to that, so that they can use that rule.
So
there's a lot of people that make mods, and when they abandon their mod, they say, I'm no longer modding this. Here's my source code for the mod. You guys have fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend Grums because whatever, I'm sure there's irony that he has made a game that he didn't actually release or whatever the fuck, but he was like, yeah, you just release the code and all of it if you're going to abandon it and not be there anymore. I don't know. The bigger part is games that should be able to be played offline, and then because of DRM, they're not. That's what I think the focus needs to be on. If Expedition 33 needed a DRM check and tomorrow they closed the server and you couldn't play it when all it would take is a certain little fucking patch or something that should have never been to begin with, I don't know.
But what if Expedition 33 were a massive flop and it's 10 years from its release? Then there ends up needing to be so many exceptions, and oh god, who said it? Yeah, better consumer protection. God, I'm getting yarded, but yeah, Nut Bunny says it's an important step towards better consumer protection. As ABF pointed out, we're asking the government to do something, and we actually have something similar. It's called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and Elizabeth Warren just steals lots of our money and then works to basically not protect consumers while stealing a bunch of money and then attacking businesses and essentially strong-arming them. So it's like, hey, we want to save our games. We want to play the 15-year-old dead game still forever. I want better consumer protection. And then you end up with this.
Yeah.
So I get some of the points that Thor's making, but yeah, he has been delivering his side of his argument very poorly.
It's a good thing that we have capitalism, but it's also a good thing that we have regulations, within our systems. You have to have, some rules here and there.
The quality of it and the age of it, I don't give a fuck. I bought it. It's mine. You are not allowed to turn it off.
So there's going to be a lot of small developers who aren't going to be able to make the games that you want them to make.
Sorry. Bye.
So you can only make a game now if it is eternal. If you're going to make a game, you have to make it eternal, or just don't make a game.
Yeah, unless specifically advertise that eventually this game won't work anymore.
Yeah, no, all those agreements we signed presumably all say that.
Yeah,
I don't think they do. If I buy Mass Effect, 30 years from now, I'm going to go back and I'm still going to be able to play my Mass Effect games.
Well, no, I think what Badger is asking for here, and I think I agree with it, is just like when you buy a pack of cigarettes, it's going to say right on the cover, this is going to kill you. But instead, it's going to say, hey, this is not a physical game.
Warning.
You're not going to own it. Yeah.
You are purchasing a game that requires an online connection that at any moment could be revoked, and you will not be able to play the game ever again. They don't say that.
Somehow you knew all your MMOs that was going to happen.
Right, and don't be disingenuous. You know, a fucking online MMORPG is completely different than a game release that requires a DRM
but then we're making
check.
exceptions, and people aren't.
It's a very
doing
specific.
That nuance now.
It's not confusing at all. I'm sorry that dummies are trying to add shit on, but if I buy a game, I should still be able to play it if there's offline modes.
A single player. If it's a single player,
Fallout
offline,
76 is an online game, but you can play it offline, which means I expect to be able to play that forever. Even if Bethesda shuts down the servers, I should still be able to play Fallout 76 offline, like in my own private world.
Oh, well, now in an MMO, that I don't see. Like Witcher 3 being able to play it forever.
No,
like,
what did I just say? If I can play it single player by myself, then by definition, I should be able to play it offline.
Yeah, because Badger's saying that Fallout 76 has an offline mode. So why wouldn't you be able to play that if
play solo?
Again,
with very few exceptions of like a World of Warcraft or the Old Republic.
I think what needs to happen is that if a game does end, they need to put out a patch for the game that allows you.
Is there an example?
To
what game have you
to not hit that server anymore? You don't have to hit the server.
What game did everyone get like royally fucked on? There's The Crew that I never played or cared about.
Do we want to wait until the fronts build up?
I mean, like we said, MMOs games die all the time. Fucking Concord died very quickly.
Yeah, and there's actually a build of that got leaked out onto the internet, by the way.
And then that's the problem. Once you start demanding the government start protecting us, and all of a sudden now they're controlling our loot boxes and what have you. And some good's going to get done, but I
think what needs to happen
go where people want it to go.
is that people need to calm down and just
put
put their heads together and come up with good solutions. But that's going to be really difficult.
That's the problem. They're not going to calm down and come up with good solutions.
Yep.
Yeah.
People are just going to yell fire. Yeah.
Yeah, and then dox and death threat people who disagree. Yeah.
Retarded.
It's absolutely retarded. And then now we got like Billy Mitchell himself been in plenty of legal issues. Pirate Software will be sued, and then everyone's all, yeah, throw him in prison. It's like
mob rule. When the mob, they don't know every detail. They don't understand the entire picture.
It's like when I try to say Kim Belair is not the devil incarnate to blame for every single woke thing that happens, but everyone's really fired up and tribal, and it's like, oh fuck, oh that didn't work. Maybe they'll listen to me eventually. And then now Stop Killing Games has gone corpo. Corporations are now shilling it. We signed Stop Killing Games because killing game to sell it again as a sequel sucks shit. So that's the other thing. It's like, wait, killing a game to sell it again as a sequel. Wait, I thought this was about something else, though. But yeah, Opera GX, who are woke as fuck on their Twitter account, wants to stop killing games, but for a completely different reason than I thought we were signing the petition.
Is that about ARC?
I don't know. Is it ABF? I don't know.
I don't know.
Can you still play the first ARC offline?
Yeah.
Or your own privates?
Yep.
Good. So they made it happen.
And you can fire up your own private server and stuff too through Steam.
There you go.
Steam command.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I know. So where are the examples of everyone getting like fucked over other than the crew?
Again, this is a preventive measure. We're seeing things like the crew. You're seeing things like this is starting to become
a
thing.
One. Well, after the crew, name the second one.
I just said Anthem, and there's other ones that I don't give a fuck.
Oh, Anthem should have died. Anthem should have been shut down probably a couple of years ago.
Again, quality does not. People paid for it. They paid for a game. Nowhere in it did it say you would not be able to play it. There's a single player mode. It should be continued to be able to play single player.
I guarantee in that terms of agreement, it says they can shut it, or else they'd be getting sued. Everyone would be suing them.
I guarantee.
I don't hear a class action lawsuit of the crew or Anthem getting sued.
Right. That's why they want the government to step in, because the corporations are getting away with it with their current terms. That you have to click on, because no one's going to read that 50-page whatever when they launch the game.
Correct. Who the hell would ever?
And also, you know what happens too? Those terms and agreements, they go to a website that they just change the language to constantly, so they can actually just keep the target moving.
Yeah. No, we're updating our terms and services.
Yeah. Or next time you log in, you have to click the button again, and you agree to something else you didn't know about. Or you turn on Call of Duty in 2020 and you agree with Black Lives Matter.
And for them to listen in all of your private chats. Yes. Make sure you're not saying too many fun words. All right, any last thoughts on Stop Killing Games before we move on to Blizzard?
We are entering a transitional period where physical media isn't a thing anymore. So I think that's something, I'm glad the conversation's happening.
That is also part of it too. All the physical media people have added all of their like complaints on to Stop Killing Games and whatnot. So now it's just this, all the things we're mad about with AAA games are now part of like Stop Killing Games. And like they want them to go do legislation, but we don't even know what we want. And then it's like, oh, there needs to be lots of exceptions. And well, okay, the one specific thing, I get, this thing, you can play it offline and do the DRM. Okay, yeah, no, I agree with that. But then everyone else throws the other shit on. It's like, well,
I mean, maybe this whole movement will evolve into someone else doing it, but in a better way,
Yes, and then it's like, okay, well now the industry has to listen to us. Okay, well then we should probably try to be on like some good behavior so they take us seriously. And then there's a reason I stopped my Gamergate documentary. And it's not just the crazies on the left who do lots of BS. We got all of our autists on 4chan who very much so like harassing people. So it's just ends up being a big dog pile, and the original like goal of Stop Killing Games, like the original thing, the dude who created the petition, and then it just ends up all being gone. It ends up being about totally different stuff, and yeah, it's good. I want to support it, but like Thor, I can't help but wonder if we do get something that comes out of it, if it's going to be what people want. Because Europe is currently trying to get us all into like digital IDs and censoring the internet. So Europe, who's currently trying to destroy everything, destroy free speech and whatnot, You want them to solve this problem? That doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys get what you are hoping for.
I think that a movement does need to happen, and we need to be vocal, and maybe somehow, and it'll be years before you even see anything from what I'm about to say, but vote with your wallet.
Yeah, 100%. And also, Grums, he had his petition for Stellar Blade. They never quite changed it back, but they still continue sectioning it up, and then it came out on PC, and it did absolute gangbusters. Did his petition have a ton of direct effect? Maybe not necessarily, but it had to have had some. Will this have a direct effect? Probably not, but it should have some. So it's the little wins, but man, if we want people to listen to us, we gotta get our shit together a little bit and maybe stop acting like the 4chan tarts. Just throwing it out there. All right. Grumps, we're gonna go through this quick and get out of here. The exact moment Blizzard went woke, I used to like Blizzard. I was talking to an old friend from OG Blizzard. Yeah, like, because you enjoyed, Diablo? I was an Overwatch enjoyer. And learned something disturbing that actually explains a lot. Sometime before 2020, an LGBT council was formed at Blizzard. One day, they probably sent out a company email saying that the LGBTQ council was now going to review all story and game elements and be able to insert their own revisions or suggestions across all games at Blizzard. I don't know if this council still exists, but if true, this is it. This is the moment Blizzard went to crap. You should never do this. The majority audience doesn't want this stuff and it'll ruin your game. Desexification. Very much desexification. And the wheelchair nonsense. So he was, I didn't even see this one. I didn't realize that so this is Cassidy. He used to be McCree, and then we had the Bill Cosby suite exposed. So this had been named after one of the Bill Cosby suite guys. So then they changed him to Cassidy, and then they had to gay him up real nice to say, we're sorry, me too, we're gay too, guys. I didn't even see this. So he was just kind of pontificating about this, and then his next tweet was like, oh wait, no, it is true. There really is LGBT Council advices on all projects at Blizzard, and this was back in 2017. Internal Blizzard memo details efforts to hire, retain more women, and then down here, the email states that Blizzard already has an LGBTQ Council that offers monthly meetings and advises on Blizzard projects. They also had the character creator, where they worked with MIT to make the scientifically perfectly woke characters. It was that's when I just said, nah, I'm fucking done with this. And then he followed up, I'm having sensitivity readers, SBI consultants, or a Blizzard style LGBTQ review council. It sums it all perfectly. The minute you form a council of anything to review your games, guess what? They find things to change, because that's their entire purpose. We've all worked somewhere where the higher ups literally existed to just cause problems, so that way they could justify their existence. They had nothing to do, so they had to, we're totally switching things up, guys, because I didn't have anything to do and I don't want my boss to fire me because I'm not doing anything. So we have to do something just to do something, guys. The minute you form a council, blah, 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 their influence begins to grow, and when the initial changes are done, do they stop? No, because then the council would be gone. Instead, they find more and more things to change. It's just like the consultancy racket. Soon the group's entire purpose is to always find problem, and the definition of problems grow and grow as they run out of stuff to complain about. It's a self-preservation mechanism that has you start to censor more and more ridiculous things or include more and more gay shit. Government does this as well. It's all about self-preservation mechanism. When the end of the fiscal year is coming up, they have to spend all of their money so they can keep getting their big budgets and whatnot. And it's all self-preservation. And it's just like the reason we can't get the FBI to do anything is because the FBI people can't ever say anything bad about the FBI, because all FBI is basically about just covering the FBI's ass. It's all self-preservation mechanism. And when you have that, then stuff doesn't change. The cancer just grows and grows and grows and grows. ABF, if you find out a company has an LGBTQ council, is that enough to say I'm not buying it?
Yes.
It's enough for me.
Yeah.
Badger, a woke council does not bode well. We got Dove, they're all about body positivity. Remember the fat FPS or MMO bitch they put out now? Why does player 1 always have to be size 0? So they showed chicks, but then they had the tank, or what was the gunner? I forget his name in TF2. So now they're like, why can't everyone be fat? But He's a big, like, muscular dude, whereas the original Dove, it's like a fat chick and a deaf chick and a albino black chick and a retarded chick and a white woman in a wheelchair. That is not any of... Either of you guys play TF2 ever?
Long time ago.
More Counter-Strike fan back then.
Yeah, I just couldn't get into it. I had no idea what the hell was happening, and eventually I got sucked into some Overwatch. The Flux for 10. I'm so done with AAA games and studios with the woke BS. Sold my Series X. What's a Series X? And just building myself a PC to sail the high seas with a VPN. I like it, but then that's also why they add the DRM to all of the games. So it's like, if we wanted to stop doing the DRM shenanigans, we need to stop fucking stealing everything.
I mean, there are people that figure out how to pirate these games by subverting that, login server and whatnot too.
I wish they would stop trying.
Lasts a day. Yeah, it lasts a day before it gets hacked still. But still,
This
as a
is the
company,
point.
you have to say shareholders were trying not to have it stolen.
Yep.
So it becomes it's both sides. It's the people stealing it, and then the corpo is trying to keep it from being stolen and being completely ineffective, and then just fucking over all the people who actually paid for it. Similar like me, when I rent stuff off Amazon and YouTube now, I can only watch it in 480p because all you fuckers pirate everything. So I pay to watch shit in 480p because you guys steal everything. It sucks that the corpos do it, but it also sucks that they have to because y'all steal everything. It just sucks. Okay, Badger, anything you want to plug?
No.
Expedition
Tomorrow.
33?
Gooch and Gang. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Probably.
Hey, BF, what you got going on?
I should be available tomorrow if you want me on. Other than that, we have Gooch joining us for Off the Hip Monday evening, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Always love seeing Gooch talk about video games.
He's an expert. Yeah, we're gonna get Gary from Nerdrotic on there one day to tell us about gaming also.
Talk about hunting that goat for 2 hours or trying to find the door for 3. So
Gooch is just gonna keep bringing up his favorite like fast food restaurants, trying to get you guys to change the subject to something else.
Hey, that's what Off the Hip is all about. We just see where it takes us.
All right, hi NTC. Absolute pleasure having you all here. Appreciate you so much. You'll have to wait tomorrow till I could talk more about my comic books and Rocky 4. But till then.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know. Hello.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Good, then get the hell out of my life. Who needs you? Beat it. Leave me alone.
I needed to get rid of the human garbage, otherwise known as my best friends.
Come on!
Bonnie, how do you keep getting back in?
Well, bye.
If we're not back by dawn, call the president.
Bye, everybody.